Welcome back to AM Northwest. Our next guest holds the Guinness World Record for most game shows episodes produced, including 25 years producing Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy. His latest project is to create the next generation of game show creators with the very first game show college course. We welcome the creator of Get in the Game, Emmy award-winning producer, Harry Friedman. Good to have you with us, Harry.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
Okay, so what is it you love about game shows? And I just have to point out that you are standing in a room filled with Emmys.
What I love about game shows is that your main job is to go into the studio and create programming that will make millions of people happy. And you get to give away millions of dollars of other people's money. That's a pretty good job.
Yeah. Was it something that you always loved, was playing games? Or TV?
Well, I grew up with television,
Yeah.
literally. And so some of the first really popular shows on TV were the game shows, you know, I've Got a Secret and What's My Line and all of those shows that live on in our memories in black and white.
Yeah. Tell me about starting this course and why you decided to do that.
I've been very involved with the TV Academy Foundation, and each year they sponsor a conference for media educators. And so these are high school and college level educators from everywhere around the country. And they've always been asking, you know, how does someone get into game shows? What does it take? Is there some sort of direct career path to doing that? And there really wasn't. And so I happened to be seated next to someone who was a media educator from the Cal State system. And we started talking, and she said, hey, why don't you come up with a game show course, and you know, we'll see if we can get it into the curriculum. And 2 years later, that's exactly what we're doing.
And it's called Get in the Game.
It's called Get in the Game, and this first course is one of 3 courses. This one is really an overview and history and kind of just a broader look at game shows and what it takes to produce them and the history of them. And then the second course is going to be game show development, where the students will take an idea and develop it into a format. And then the third course will be actually producing that format in the form of either a presentation tape or even a pilot. And who knows, maybe that pilot will sell, and that will be the great reward for the entire course.
That would be so awesome. What is the secret to a great game show? Is it, I mean, you have to pay attention to the host, who you cast as the host.
Right. The secret of a great game show is how it engages the viewer. And so I think that's one of the secrets of the longevity of both Wheel and Jeopardy. The formats are really very, very simple. Wheel has been described as hangman with prizes, and that's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
You know, if you walk into the room, and even if it's in the middle of an episode of Wheel of Fortune or Jeopardy, you just instinctively play along. So
Yeah.
it's truly interactive in the most meaningful way.
Tell me about working, we lost Alex Trebek not too long ago. What was it like working with him? I mean, he was super smart.
He was super smart and took this job, this career, very seriously. He never took himself seriously. So much so that when we were on a remote and we were printing tickets for the remote, and the ticket proof said Jeopardy starring Alex Trebek, and he said, no, I do not want that on the tickets, because I am not the star of the show.
Oh,
the
wow.
contestants and the material are the stars of the show. So he was a great broadcaster, and he took a lot of pride in being a broadcaster. So that's where he grew up. He cared about the audience, he cared about the integrity of the game, and so he was fully involved and fully invested, and a great guy to work with.
And I understand too, Carl Reiner and Mel Brooks love game shows, and they would get together to watch game shows.
We heard that 3 nights a week, Mel would go over to Carl's house in Beverly Hills. They would get out their TV trays and they would sit side by side in their Barca loungers and watch Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy together. And so we contacted them and said, would you guys honor us by doing some clues, some video clues for the show?
Wow.
And so they said, of course. So here we are on a Thursday afternoon, and I'm sitting behind two of the greatest comedy legends, two of the creators in history. And it was, I hesitate to use this term, but it really was magical.
I just cannot even imagine. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we mentioned Alex Trebek. Let's talk about Peter Marshall going back. I absolutely adored him. I thought he was like a sweetheart. Like, you knew he'd be a good friend.
Well, Peter kind of spoiled me. He spoiled me for every host that I would ever work with thereafter. So this was, I first met Peter in 1972. I came on Hollywood Squares as a writer and then associate producer. And one of my jobs was to brief Peter and the celebrities before the show. And as you can see, he had a great sense of humor. And again, he took it very seriously.
Was there a lot of like behind the scenes funny stuff going on around Hollywood Squares? I mean, I hear stories.
Yeah, chances are they're all true. It was a great time to be in television. It was a great time to be with that show. I was there for a little over 10 years and met hundreds of celebrities, got to know some of them quite well. But it was the best training ground that I ever could have had. Peter was generous with his time. Meryl Heater and Bob Quigley, who owned the show, were likewise very generous. And they let me learn, and I learned well, I think.
Okay, Paul Lynde, what comes to mind?
It was so great as a writer to be able to write for Paul Lynde.
Yeah.
Yes, we did write the jokes for the celebrities.
Right.
We never told them the answers, but before the show, we would brief the celebrities and say, here's your first question, and a possible bluff answer that could be the real answer is this. And if you don't know the real answer, and then here's a joke. So now, 50 years later, all of those jokes are making the rounds on websites and on the internet and being enjoyed over and over and over again. Unfortunately, a lot of them are sort of misquoted. But now when I look at it in the context of that era, some of it was pretty edgy and a lot of Congress, and that was part of the fun to see what we could get away with.
Yeah, the course in Get in the Game. Are you hoping it will go in a national, like in schools across the nation?
We hope that ultimately it'll be offered online as a video course, so that there can be a lot of remote learning.
Yeah.
Because at least it will give the students an idea of what does go on behind the scenes and what some of the opportunities are that they may not be aware of. There are a lot of truly important jobs and positions on a game show staff that are not some of the marquee positions,
right.
Host and producer and so on. But everything from the technical side to the accounting side to to lighting to audio, there's so many things. If you look at the long credits on any game or reality show, you're probably going to see 60 to 70 or more people.
Wow.
And a lot of people went, gee, what is that? What's a gaffer? What is what is this position?
Yeah.
And so they are good jobs. They are good, solid jobs. And a lot of them provide the student with skills that are transferable skills that they can use outside of just game shows. They can use in the broader landscape of television.
Absolutely. Harry Friedman, thank you so much for your time. Great talking with you.
My pleasure, Helen. Thank you.
Thank you.